No matter where you look on social media, everyone keeps telling you that it's possible to build an app only using AI in a weekend. And some people claim that you can do it only in a few hours while laying on your couch.
If you want to make 100K this month, I'm about to give you 3 viral apps you can build in 30 seconds.
But here's the thing, they're not completely wrong. I myself built my first ever multiplayer app in only just 7 days. So it is actually possible. But here's what they're not telling you. Most people jump into Lovable or some other no-code builder that spits out the complete wrong stack. And then they wonder why they can't get their app published to the App Store. And even the people who are using the right tools from the start will eventually just run into the same problems. Building the app is actually the easy part. The hard part is getting it published to the App Store and getting users. So today I will be teaching you exactly how to bring an idea to a working app, getting it published to the App Store and monetizing it through ads. The pipeline I'm going to show you in this video is all you'll ever need to know in order to get started vibe coding apps that none of these gurus with red light glasses are telling you about. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is something almost everyone skips and then regrets, which is actually thinking through the app properly before they start coding. It sounds dumb because of course you would think people think the idea through before they start coding, but people don't do that in the correct way. Most people actually, when they have an idea, they will just pull up Claude Code and then start coding, which seems intuitive if you're used to just chatting with the AI like normal. But now we are coding and not chatting with the AI, which means we have to take a more sophisticated approach. Otherwise you will regret this later, and trust me on this. And I know it sounds obvious to think your idea through before you start coding, but when you're using Claude Code specifically, Claude Code doesn't have memory in between sessions. So every time you start a new conversation with Claude Code, it doesn't know what you are building. It doesn't know what you built the last time. It doesn't know the structure of your database and so on. So if you do not give Claude Code context up front, you will end up with Claude Code making decisions and implementing code that contradicts everything. And you'll spend hours debugging problems that shouldn't even exist. The way to solve this is basically through a claude.md document. An MD document is basically just a text document that is easier for AI to read. So what you're going to do is in this MD file, you're going to tell Claude about all the context it needs to know. So what app you're building, what the features will look like, how they will work, your database structure, what stack you're using, and so on and so on. The more details you can fit in this document, the better Claude Code will work, since there are less knowledge gaps between you and Claude Code. So instead of just yapping, I will show you a concrete example. So here's my latest app that I have vibe coded, and here you can see all the files that I have in here. And here we have the claude.md document. So if I click on this, you can see that it's just a document describing what the app is, what the stack is, the project structure, the database schema, and so on. This document is not too long because you want as much information as possible in as little text as possible, because Claude Code needs to read this every time it works, so you don't want it to consume too much usage. So every time I want to change something with my app, Claude Code will read this document and get the perfect context on what I'm doing. And remember, once you've implemented a few changes, ask Claude Code to update claude.md with what it has done, because otherwise this document is pointless if it never gets updated. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the stack. And if you've never heard that word before, don't worry. It basically just means what tools and programming languages you are using in order to make your app. And this is where a lot of beginners and first-timer accidentally chooses the wrong stack, which causes their app to not be compatible with the App Store or Google Play Store, which means they have to do it all over again. If you Google how to build a mobile app using AI, the most common thing you'll end up with is Lovable. And Lovable is honestly only good at building web apps that you use in your browser, not mobile apps. The problem is that a lot of people start building mobile apps using Lovable, but they don't realize that the stack is wrong and that they are creating a web app. When they want to publish it to the App Store, they will realize that everything is wrong and it will not work. And if you're left in this situation, you only have two choices. Either you rebuild the app completely, or you use a web app wrapper that makes your app feel slow and laggy. Maybe you're asking yourself right now, Arthur, what should I choose instead? Well, of course you should choose React Native, and I will tell you why. The reason is pretty simple. With React Native you just write one codebase and it will work with iOS and Google Play. On top of React Native we're going to use something called Expo, and if you haven't heard about it, it's honestly one of the best tools ever created for developing mobile apps, and it's all completely free. So basically Expo is a tool built by developers who get fed up with how hard it was making mobile apps, and they just decided to fix it for free for everyone, which is amazing. And honestly the best part with Expo is that you can preview your app like this while you are coding and seeing the changes in real time. And I'm going to show you exactly how to set that up in a minute. Alright, so now we know two things: how to give Claude Code the proper context about your idea and your project, and you know what stack you're going to use. Now I'm going to show you how to actually set up the project and start coding. So before we do anything else, we need two things installed. So the first thing that you need to install is Visual Studio Code, or VS Code for short. And it's completely free, and this basically is our code editor that we'll use for absolutely everything. And as I said, it's completely free, so just go to visualstudiocode.com and download it for whatever system you're on. The second thing you need installed, of course, is Claude Code, and I have a full tutorial for both Mac and Windows linked in the description below, so if you don't have Claude Code installed on your computer, watch the videos and then get back to this video. Alright, so once you have Visual Studio Code and Claude Code installed, you want to open VS Code and just create a folder and then open that folder. So I've created test project as my folder. Then you want to open a new terminal by either pressing terminal here, a new terminal, or on Mac I can press Command J and I'll open a terminal. Then what I want to do is configure this project in the correct stack that we talked about earlier. So in order to do this, we'll paste this command which will install everything we need. So npx create Expo app, and then I have chosen my app, but you can just name it whatever you want. And then you're going to press enter, and then it will ask you to proceed, so just press Y and then hit enter. So now we have Expo installed, and after you've set up the project correctly, you can preview your app on your phone. And I'm going to show you how it works while using my imposter game that I vibe coded as an example. So all I need to do is type npx expo start and then press enter, and what this will do is basically it will host the app on my computer so that I can access it with my phone. So all you need to do is download the Expo Go App, take your phone and then scan this QR code, and then you can preview your app on your phone. And as you can see, it works. You can just tap here and tap here, and this is perfect for testing your app with friends, so you can discover bugs that you otherwise would have not have found. Okay, so the next thing you want to do in the pipeline in order to create your first ever mobile app is to connect your project to GitHub. And it's really important that you do this before you start coding. If you don't know what GitHub is, think of GitHub like a Google Drive but for code. Basically every developer in the whole world stores their code on GitHub, and it's completely free. And there's many benefits with this. First of all, you can access your code from anywhere, you can share it with others, but most importantly, it means that you can go back if something goes wrong with your code. Claude Code is extremely powerful, but sometimes it makes mistakes. And if something breaks, you want to go back to the previous version. And the thing is, when you're using Claude Code in VS Code, there's no such thing as pressing Ctrl-Z or Command-Z and going back. If Claude Code breaks something, which it eventually will do, you cannot go back unless you connect your project to GitHub. So don't skip this step because it's very, very important. Alright, so after these steps, you're actually ready to start coding with Claude Code. And the first time you load up Claude Code into VS Code, it will look a little bit scary. So I will guide you through the process. Alright, so now we're ready to start coding. So what we'll do is we'll type Claude in the terminal here in VS Code, and then we'll press enter. And this will launch Claude Code. And here you just log in with your subscription. So I just authorize this and then get back to VS Code and press enter. And now you can see, I just have to press enter a few times. So now you can see we have Claude Code running in our project. So here, just as in the web, you will type your prompts. For example, I can type Claude read the claude.md document and tell me briefly about the project. And then a good habit to have is to type do not change anything. And if you always tell Claude to not change anything when you're just asking questions, you will minimize the risk of changing something that you don't want to happen. So here you can see it's briefly telling me about my imposter game, so it all works. So now you're all set to start coding your first mobile app, but I want to give you some tips on how to prompt. So first of all, my first tip is to always ask Claude Code to just make a plan and do not change anything. Because if you ask Claude Code, I want to implement this, I want you to give me the plan and do not change anything, it will plan out the feature. And if you do this, you will minimize the errors that Claude Code makes. Because if you just tell Claude Code to implement this feature, it will not think it through properly, and it will result in a lot more bugs and errors. Another good habit if you're unsure how to structure your prompts is to just use a regular Claude chat window that can help you create the prompts that you send to Claude Code. And when something goes wrong, which it eventually will do, just paste the error message into Claude Code, ask it to analyze what happened, why it went wrong, and how to fix it. And usually within a few tries, Claude Code will figure out what went wrong and how to fix it. And honestly, my best tip is just play around with Claude Code. Don't be afraid of it. Push its boundaries and so on, and when you do this, you will get a feel for what it can do and what its limitations are. At some point you will be done with your app, just like I am. And at this point you want to share this app with your friends without uploading it to the App Store, so you can test it out. This will give you very valuable feedback, and you will also find a lot of bugs that you otherwise would have not have found. And since we're using Expo, there's a really good way of sharing your app without having it published to the App Store or the Google Play Store. So what you want to do when you're at this stage is that you want to paste this command. So what does this do? Well, it basically uploads a version of your app to the cloud and then gives you a link that you can share with your friends and family so that they can use your app without having to download it from the App Store or the Google Play Store. So after you've run this command, you can go to expo.dev and then log in. And here you can select your project, which is my imposter app. So once I get to this page, I'll press preview. And I will go down and then I will copy the update deep link URL. So just copy this link, send it to all of your friends, and when they click on this link, it will open the app and they can just try it like it was on the App Store. Alright, so let's talk about money, the fun stuff when creating your app. If you're planning to monetize your app through ads, which for most apps generally is the most realistic path, AdMob needs to be integrated to your app before you publish it to the App Store, and this is really important that you do it in the right order. Google AdMob is a really great way of monetizing your app, and if you've ever played a free game on your iPhone, you have definitely seen Google AdMob ads. The trick here is to get the right balance of showing ads and then letting people play. So if I have a game, for example, I want to show ads when the user is not playing, when they're in the lobby, when they just have died, and so on and so on. So it's kind of tricky of finding the right balance of when to show ads and to not show it. But the rule of thumb is to show ads when people are waiting and not actually engaging with the core user experience. Now it's actually time for the last step before publishing your app. And this step can actually seem a little bit intimidating, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty straightforward. So at this point you have an app that works and you want to publish it to the App Store. But before it's possible to publish to the App Store, you need to convert your app with an EAS Build. And what this does basically is that it takes your code and then converts it to an IPA file that you then can submit to App Store or Google Play Store. And thankfully, since we're using Expo, we can just run this command and it will do the conversion for us. And in order to execute this step, you need an Apple developer account if you want your app published to the App Store. And this costs roughly $100 per year. And unfortunately, there's no way around it. That's just what Apple charges you in order to let you publish apps to the App Store. So once you've converted the project and that you got your Apple developer account, you're ready to publish your first app. And that's genuinely it. This is the whole pipeline to go from an idea to an actual app that you can download from the App Store. If anything at all was a little bit unclear, please leave a comment with your question and make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching.